The latest on the Trump raid and the foot-dragging on transparency. Here to discuss all this, our legal legend and the host of the podcast, The Dersh Show. He's also the author of the new book, The Price of Principle, Why Integrity is Worth the Consequences. Professor Alan Dershowitz, I've been waiting to talk to you all week. We've got some good stuff here. Professor, this Minnesota policy would give racial preferences when it comes to layoffs. So a more qualified white teacher would be laid off first in this policy over a black teacher with less experience. Is there a lawsuit in the offing here?
Clearly unconstitutional. The Supreme Court of the United States will decide next term that even Harvard, a private university's policy of giving racial advantages is unconstitutional. Race simply cannot be alone a factor in making governmental decisions. You can look at seniority, you can look at qualifications, meritocracy, you can define meritocracy broadly, but you can't say that an advantage or disadvantage occurs just because of a race.
It just blows my mind that these legislators and these elected officials continue to pass these laws which are clearly unconstitutional. All right, now, the big story of the week. Let's turn to the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. We may be possibly seeing redacted parts of the affidavit as soon as next week. The magistrate has ordered the Justice Department to present proposed redactions by next Thursday. So, Professor, this has been my question. Why give them a week? If you're this magistrate, you got the whole eyes of the country on you. Why not pull the attorneys all into chambers and say, hey, let's go through this thing line by line. Let's come up with something reasonable here, given the intense public interest. Why go through this dog and pony show?
Well, let me start first. They won't have all the lawyers there. They'll only have the lawyers for the government. Judge Reinhart will not allow Trump's lawyers to be there because then they would find out the names of informers. So it's going to be an ex-party meeting just between Reinhart and the lawyers for the government. Right. The Trump's lawyers can protest, can object, but they won't be shown the stuff the government wants to have redacted. They probably could have done it sooner, but I think Reinhart so far has been handling himself very, very well. He basically did what everybody said he would not do. I predicted he would do it in an article in Newsweek magazine the morning that he did it. I predicted he would allow some part of the affidavit with redactions. Here's what's going to happen. Government will come in and cherry pick. They will not redact anything that's unfavorable to Trump. They will redact things that are favorable to Trump. They'll claim national security. Reinhart will agree with some and disagree with others. Then they very well might appeal. And that will delay at least the release of things that are contested. But I think by next Thursday, late afternoon, we will see the parts of the affidavit that are not contested by the government. And so we'll see something. We probably won't see everything.
President Trump says that he declassified all of the documents that were at Mar-a-Lago. What can he do, or what can he show to demonstrate that that was the case, that before he left office, he did indeed, if there was a TS, a top secret, or an SCI document, that he did indeed declassify that? Therefore, he said he could take it then. What can he do to kind of clear that up?
Well, it's an evidentiary issue, and his own statement is evidence. He will say that on such and such a day, he classified document X. The government will come back and say no, and if they can't overcome his statement, if his statement is credible, then it will have to be believed, but it will be a question of evidence. I doubt he has any documentation, but we know that President Bush once at least declassified a document in the middle of a meeting, just said, oh, no, that's okay. I'm declassifying that. Right. So the president has the authority, but there has to be evidence of some kind. Right. Now, people misunderstand evidence. It's not a piece of paper. Donald Trump's statement is evidence.
All right. So the burden of proof, though, is on the government to say that Trump did not, in fact, declassify it, right?
Well, there's no case law on that, but I think if it's a criminal case, then the government would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump did not declassify the material. So the burden would be on them in a criminal case.
All right, the story keeps on rolling on, for better or worse. Professor Alan Dershowitz, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you.